everyone, I hope you're all doing so well, and welcome to this little review of Old Holland's Dioxazine Purple. Just as a quick note, the official name for this colour is actually Dioxazine Mauve. Also, thank you so much if you commented on my last video. I actually went away for a few days. I was in England, because obviously, but I was just not here. And for some reason, everyone who commented on my last video, their comments just kept disappearing. Now, I really hope that my channel has resumed to normal, but if you have left a comment and it disappeared, I do apologise. I have no clue what happened. I didn't delete it. It's just the wonderful land of YouTube. So what about this colour, Dioxazine Purple? A very famous colour, a staple on most artists' palettes, a very common colour and not the most expensive. So definitely an attainable colour if you're looking to step into the world of purple. Let's talk about the history of purple. So purple has been around for centuries, and a very famous purple was known as Tyrian purple. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, which came from Lebanon, and this was used to dye clothes. This was a much more reddish purple, and this purple was incredibly expensive to create because it came from the secretion, the mucus of a particular type of snail called the murex snail. And it took thousands and thousands of snails to create this dye for clothes. Therefore, because it was so expensive, only the very wealthy would have it. It became known as kind of a status symbol. If you were out and about wearing purple, you were probably royalty, or possibly if you were, a nobleman, you would have just a stripe of purple because that would be all the dye that you could afford. Now, purple was not only associated with great wealth and power, but it was also a very dangerous colour. During King Henry VIII's time, King Henry VIII heard a rumour that the Earl of Surrey, who he pretty much hated anyway, was going around wearing purple robes as if he were king, because purple was associated with sort of kings and royals. Controversial behaviour of wearing purple was presented with other evidence at the trial for treason of the Earl of Surrey, and he was in the end beheaded on Tower Hill for quartering the royal arms. Forward to the late 19th century and early 20th century, and this colour appears. It is the Dioxazine Purple. Now, there seems to be some debate as to who came up with this pigment, so I'm not going to attribute it to anyone. All I'm going to say is that it comes under the pigment number 23 and is sometimes listed in oil paint brands as violet. My opinion, violet is the blue leaning purple, and then you get other purples that are more red leaning. Now, I don't, as a result, use this colour a ton. As you can see, I haven't used up very much, although funnily enough, when I was painting a lot more fantasy art a few years ago, I did actually go through the Gamblin one of this same colour. Now, I'll talk about the differences between the two in a moment, and what is really interesting about this colour is that a lot of impressionists use this type of violetty colour because it has a very deep tone, and they use it for shadows in replacement of black. So what I do think this colour is really great for, and I have used it a few times in this way, is when I'm trying to paint amethyst, because when you add white to this colour, it does become that very beautiful violetty colour. I would say this colour is really beautiful. It's really, really intense, like all Old Holland colours. It has that incredible vibrancy, intensity, and it is pretty transparent as well, so you can use it for glazing. I would say though that in comparison to the Gamblin one, which I finished, the Gamblin one is more transparent than the Old Holland one. So if you're somebody who likes really intense colours, I would go for the Old Holland. If you're somebody who wants a less tinting strength, then go for the Gamblin one. I prefer the Old Holland one, but that's only because I just adore really intense, bold colours. So if you're somebody who likes a more muted palette, or you want more subtlety, want more ability for glazing, and I do think that this colour is incredibly useful for, firstly, landscapes if you're into impressionism, or just generally you like to paint, sort of purplish skies and things. And I also think it's very, very useful for still life. So those highlights on grapes and plums, things like that, this colour is incredible for those situations. Also, if you like to paint fantasy art, using blue, red and this type of a purple creates a beautiful palette. I just thought I'd also quickly update you before I switch to my palette and show you what this colour looks like, that I am planning to make some videos just sort of showing you my current oil paintings and how they're doing and which ones I finished and what they look like. I may set it to music, I don't know, maybe I'll do a little narration as well. I haven't filmed many time lapses where I'm sort of talking over the time lapse because I just haven't had the time. I've been applying for various things and it takes up too much time. There's not enough time, as I've said many times. Yes, indeed. So I will now switch to my palette and I will talk you through this incredible and amazing colour. So here we have one tube of Dioxazine Purple. Now, as I mentioned before, you will find different names in different brands. So this is Dioxazine Mauve in Old Holland. And on the side, you would just see that the pigment number is 23. So that's the number that you need to look for. And here I'm going to show you what the colour looks like without any sort of medium or anything like that. And you can see how deep and rich the colour is without any mixing. And so this is why a lot of Impressionists used to use it for shadows, because it is so dark it could be mistaken for black, but it does have that little undertone of purple. And now I'm mixing it with white and you can see how vibrant this violet is. I mean, it's just so incredible. It's extremely blue leaning, just reminds you so much of those violet flowers, and just really, really intense, so strong, because as I said before, Old Holland really do specialise in intensity of colour. So you can just see from adding just the tiniest amount of white how brilliant this colour comes out, and how true to, you know, sort of the violet colour it is. And now I'm going to add just a little bit of medium so I can show you its glazing powers. I just added a bit too much paint there, so I'm just going to really thin it out. And as you can see, again, it's just so beautiful. The colour is vibrant. It has that beautiful luminosity because I've mixed it obviously with medium, and it's perfect. It's a perfect level of transparency if you want to glaze. So I hope you enjoyed this little review and take care, guys.